Hope everyone's doing all right. We are here to provide some training. I have got the resident expert, Joe Thigpen, here to show how this is going to be done. We're going to provide you some training on how to do a mosquito treatment. This will be done in 3 sections. The first, you have probably already been through a PowerPoint presentation showing you some slides as to equipment use and maintenance and things and proper techniques for doing the application. The second section we'll show you right now, which involves an inspection, and then the third will be showing you the equipment in use also. So, first part of this process is introducing yourself to the customer and providing some basic information as to how the treatment will work. We should make sure to inform the customer that they should remain indoors, and we'll also inform them that we will start near the front entry point to make sure that's done in case somebody accidentally does come through the front door. Making sure obviously that you inform them about the back door and waiting to exit the house until the treatment has been done and we have communicated with them. So we will walk you through an inspection here and talk to you about some of the key things that you should be cognizant of in preparing for the treatment and then also doing the treatment itself. An inspection should be done each time prior to the application. So the focus should be during these applications to conducive conditions, which is high moisture areas or places where you're not getting a lot of airflow, which then obviously creates an excessive amount of moisture, which is where mosquitoes like to breed. So if you look here in the front, this is one of those areas where there's not a lot of airflow. Fortunately, this homeowner looks like they have some of these bushes trimmed away, giving us some access underneath. It's not always this ideal in some properties, so we want to try to get these applications into some of these tight cracks and crevices the best that we can. Over here, this can be also a conducive condition. You've got some vegetation in the front here that would harbor some moisture, and then certainly depending on the area that you're in and the rainfall and things like that, you might have some breeding on this tree as well, which we will show you how to treat for this. This area, same situation as over here. You've got a little bit larger vegetation, which then can create even more of a conducive environment for breeding. You've got water access here. Who knows how often they use this hose, but you may have a drippy line, which creates a pool of water or stagnation there, which is also a very conducive condition. Let's move around to the side. So there are a few key elements on this side of the property. Obviously recognize 2 AC units. These are important to be aware of. While the AC units are on, it's blowing air out of that unit, which potentially can influence where that product is drifting to. So make sure that you are aware of the units themselves and be aware of where your product is going during that application so that you don't get any excessive misting coming towards you or in a non-target area. Over here on the side, during your inspection, you should be looking for food-bearing plants. You may not be horticulturalists or planters or things like that, but certainly you should be looking for things like that, any food-bearing plants. So these you may not catch quickly, but you can tell that you've got 2 blueberry plants that are in this area, which we need to stay away from. Some of the other things that maybe are not caught as easily are some of your spices and things like that that you want to be careful for. Let's continue to move around here. Another item to be careful for are sensitive plants. Plants which have blooms. In this situation, you've got some rose bushes that look like they're already under some drought type of conditions, which puts them in a little bit more of a fragile state. So be careful. We want to try to avoid any applications on the blooms themselves, but you're going to have moisture conditions that are underneath these plants, and so doing the best you can to get the positive benefit of an application without endangering a plant or causing any sort of unnecessary stress or burden on the plant. We want to show back here, a lot of times you're going to have vegetation that is not actually right along the foundation of the house, but can be a highly conducive environment for mosquitoes. So you're looking for anything, any area that is where there is moisture, chance for moisture, that would allow a breeding site for mosquitoes. Some of the sensitive areas that we need to be careful for is any area where there may be any sort of human contact, hands, feet, things like that. You've got a child slide here, so we should probably try the best that we can to avoid applications on the slide itself. If we move further along this area, obviously you can tell this area, because of the dense vegetation, you're going to have water that is going to kind of coalesce in this area. So make sure that this area is a focal point. You've got a swing. Certainly we shouldn't be making an application directly on the swing, but we want to get areas that are also going to be a problem, so making applications underneath the swing might be an option. We have firewood. Assuming that this wood will be used for a fire pit, we need to make sure that there are no applications being made to this firewood causing some sort of a problem with inhalation, someone breathing in any of the product that we've made an application with. And then we also have chairs that somebody would use maybe for an event or just kind of relaxing around the fire pit. We will probably move these during the point of our application or an inspection away from this area so that we can catch this area where there's high vegetation. So let's move back over here to this area. We've got a porch. This one may not be as low as some of the other porches that you'll run into, but it's low enough nonetheless that would allow some sort of water to kind of collect in this area. You'll also notice, if you can see well enough, some leaf vegetation that's underneath there, which is a highly conducive environment for water, as well as a cup that's underneath there, which, if we're doing this properly, we should be gathering any sort of item that potentially could be used by a child or an adult to drink from, or to play with. So this a good topic to bring up right now. We haven't found any children's toys, but those should be removed from the area also, so that there is zero risk and causing any sort of unnecessary contact. Moving further along here, same sort of scenario here with bushes. And then the side here, we've got several bushes with the same sort of situation. Heavy vegetation. This side of the house, if you look here, does not get very much sun, and it's like this probably for the vast majority of the day. So special attention should be given to this side of the house, or any side of the house that you know is going to get more shade, which then would collect water. Also low points. If you can notice here, you've got a low point, which some of you that may be familiar with lawn and ornamental type things, you've got some grass here that is not growing, which would be an indication of some water that's collecting here, which creates too moist of an environment for grass to be able to grow the right way. So in addition to this, we should be looking for any other grade issues that would cause water to pool. This is the most conducive situation of all. One other area that I forgot, let's come over here really fast. Potted plants is another big item that we should look for. If we have a situation where we know it's a non-food bearing plant and it's not a sensitive plant, we should pay attention to that and make sure that we're making a light application to those areas to prevent problems with breeding. A lot of times you will have situations where water will collect in the tray below here. So if possible, without damaging a flower pot or something like that, it may be good to dump that and then inform the customer that it's good to keep those drained so that water doesn't collect. I think it's good for the inspection. We will go ahead and move on to some of the application techniques as far as training is concerned.